Dr. Greg Sanders is a pastor, family guy, pickleball player, social pundit, and founder of Max Community. He believes firmly in the power of community to help people, including small business owners, to maximize everything that matters. Greg, welcome to the BRI Talks Stage.
Thank you, Tara Lee. I'm so honored to be a part of this. Thank you so much. From Roger to Rachel, I have been inspired. From brokenness to dealing with terminal illness in your family, there are many reasons to pursue hope and to know how to cultivate hope carefully. So, my talk is going to be in the form of a PowerPoint or a slide deck, rather. And the topic is co-creators creating masterpieces in the image of God. I don't want you to misunderstand this. I'm not saying that we are creators with a capital C. God is the creator, but we're creators with a lowercase c, a small c. You should be a creator and create a masterpiece or masterpieces. This is my main point, that we need to be creating things of value like the master. And sometimes those things of value are shaped just like the potter's clay, out of tribulation, out of challenge, out of even grief and tragedy. God is able to do a marvelous work in our lives if we allow him to do that. And your masterpiece will be told with your style, your story, your masterpiece as inspired by the master. Now, how do we create masterpieces? First of all, I believe we join God in being a creator. Sometimes we think that being created in the image of God is just a matter of morality or being connected to God. But God is creative. Every day is a new creation of God. There is no day that you've ever experienced that is like any other day. Each day is unique. It's beautiful. It's a gift from God. Every person is unique. Every snowflake is unique. And everything that we can do is unique. So create things with your style and your value. And I believe that part of what we need to do as Christians is to help build God's kingdom. Everybody can write a book. People who with of any faith background can create things of value. But as Christians, I think we are particularly called to pay attention to the voice of God, to live in the Spirit of God, to help build God's kingdom, and that needs to be done prayerfully. And if we do that, I believe we will give to others the gift of hope. I really enjoyed the topic of this summit, to give hope, and I think we've had masterpiece examples already at work. Thank you, Tara Lee, for putting this summit together. What a beautiful example this is of using your energy, God-given inspiration, and putting together something that blesses. For our speakers, what wonderful testaments to, again, prayerfully using your energies and bringing things of value. And so I guess my talk is going to be, what will you do? How will you be inspired to create something? A story, a writing, a book, a podcast. We're going to look at different things that can be created. Let me tell you a story here. Sometimes we feel like we don't want to be prideful. We don't want to create something and then take glory away from God. I'm recalling the Renaissance painters who would make a beautiful masterpiece, and then they would deliberately put an error or a mistake into that beautiful painting because they wanted to remind the world and themselves that only God is perfect. I don't really think we need to worry about that. There's really nothing that we can do that will ever be perfect, no matter how other people rate it, a 10 out of 10 or anything like that. But let me tell you the story of the gardener. There was once a gardener that inherited a garden, and it was overgrown with trees and bushes and weeds. And he decided that he wanted to bring value. He wanted to raise vegetables. He wanted to create flowers. He wanted to make, in part of his garden, a beautiful walking path. And so he labored for many weeks, removing stones, getting rid of weeds, chopping down trees that were in the way. And he created a beautiful path through what used to be just a wild and overgrown forest. He was very proud of his work, and his neighbors would come by and they told him, "You've got to stop being so prideful. This is not your work. God does everything. This is God's work." To which the gardener responded, "You know what? God made the plants. Yes. God made the sunshine. Yes. God made me. But you know what? You should have seen this when God had it all to himself." And it just reminds us that we have a partnership with God in creating and bringing things into the world. Look around you at the glass in the windows, at things made of plastic, made of petroleum, at the internal combustion engine in the car outside. These are things that people made, partnering with God, using the laws of science, doing something incredible. So our summit's all about unshakable hope. I really love that. Very positive message. And that's partly what we need to be creating. We need to bring hope to people. My thought is that everybody has a story that needs to be told. And we all need to take the time and make the effort to create our stories and our messages that need to be shared. Our messages and the content that we create will give hope. Let's look at it this way. I believe that God, first of all, has love for us. We start with God's love. And then our response is that we believe, we have unshakable faith. And if we really cling to God, His truth, in spite of whatever life throws your direction, Rachel, my heart goes out to you for dealing with ALS and your husband. What a terrible tragedy that was. We all, through all those experiences, will have opportunity to have our faith tested. But if we stay firm to the end and our faith remains unshakable, then God's love will inspire unshakable hope, and our faith will also not only give hope to us, but hope to other people. So, what about me and what about you? What are some things that you could create? Books. I'm thinking not only of writing books to advance my business or make an impact on the world, but books for my children, my grandchildren. How will they know my values? How will they know my view of the world unless I put into writing, whether it's a short letter or as part of a happy birthday card? I remember my grandmother gave me a verse from Micah to walk humbly with our God way back when I was 8 years old. I still remember the card she gave me because she gave me a meaningful message along with that birthday card. Creating an e-course, creating a podcast. These are more modern kinds of things you could do. Music that you could create. We should be about the business of creation. Now, is it sacrilegious to say that we are co-creators? I don't think so. If you look at Genesis 1:27, we are created in the image of God, male and female. What does that mean? Well, I think partly it means we're intelligent, conscious, and we're thinking beings. We know what's right and wrong. We have a sense of morality. We connect with each other. God has connected with us and loved us. We love other people in return. We're relational, social beings. But I believe we are also creative, as God is the creator. So we derive inspiration from his creative energy and we become creators as well. We become authors, writers, editors, even ghostwriters. These are two of my favorite authors. Just kidding. They're probably too young to be my favorite authors. Maybe this guy is your favorite author. But we need to start writing. What a beautiful gift if you know how to read and you know how to write. We need to be speakers, preachers, and teachers. And people have a message no matter if they're male or female, whatever age. When I was on a vacation the last couple of weeks, my father preached on Easter Sunday, and the people loved it. He's 96 years old. One of the women from our church preached on the next week, and people loved it because she shared from her heart. And then we have modern creators, people that use a microphone, that do podcasting, that do things on TikTok and all that kind of thing. Look over the wide variety of modern kinds of creators, videographers, musicians, poets, social media posters, podcasters, YouTubers, you name it. I believe that our family can be creative and we can create things of value in our family. There's my mom and my dad on the left, 95 and 96. My dad's 96. If you can see in my little picture here, here's a poem that my father wrote a couple of months ago. He's always been an inspiration to me to be creative. It's called The Final Ring. He was a handbell director for decades. He would compose music and lead choirs. And he said, there was once a bell choir director who made every ringer a victor. Through 16 bright years, they conquered their fears of rhythm and technique, the restrictor. And it goes on and on and on. But he chose a very bittersweet moment in his life, the last day that he directed a handbell choir at a retirement community in Lakeland, Florida, just a few months ago, to write that poem to interpret, to meditate upon, and to give thanks to God for the journey that he's been on. Now, on the right-hand side, you see my wife and myself. We just took this picture on a vacation that we went on. One of the things that I tried to do, and I told my wife when we're on the vacation, let's just grab a recorder on our phone. And then, you know how you do a whole vacation and then you forget what day did you do this and what were the highlights? I said, let's just talk into the recorder. Sometime at some later point, our kids will like this, or we'll get that, and we'll put them into printed form. We have more things at our disposal now to capture stories, more technology to be creators than we've ever had before. This is my dad's poem. I'm not going to read it, but you can see that he put some time into writing this. The last phrase is no more dinglings under my guide. A little humor thrown in, right? Along with the joy and the pain. And now he is actually out gardening. You go figure. If you can be 96 years old and still gardening, and staying out there for 45 minutes, you're doing pretty well. I believe children are masterpieces. These are some of my grandkids on the left, and I have some kids there in the foreground that I'm going to talk about in a minute. You have children. They are God's masterpieces. Question for you: whose children are they? Are they your children or are they God's children? Well, obviously, they're always God's children. They were God's children before they became ours, and now they are God's again. I happen to have lost 3 children out of 7 to early or premature death. How do I deal with that? That's part of my story. I'll tell you more about it another time in another talk. But I believe that all of the pain, all of the suffering we go through, all of our experiences can be used to be creators in the Creator's image. I believe that's in our DNA. The world we live in is co-created. We must share our faiths, our beliefs, teach our children, and then impact the world with what we create. Technology is part of this package. AI even can help you to write stories more quickly, to check your spelling, to distribute that information on social media. Let me close by talking about my family and how I want to share my story with my family and content with them. My family's a little bit crazy. This is a vacation that we took in Punta Cana, Mexico, just last year. We've been there a couple of times already, and we're missing some people. I'm taking the picture, so I wasn't in the photograph. My mom and my dad didn't feel like they could make the trip. They're not part of the picture. Some other family members weren't there, so that's really about half of our group. And some of us like to go on vacation. Some of these people weren't there. We like to play pickleball. We're kind of a goofy family. But here's some other people that weren't there. My son Darren in 1991 died of acute lymphocytic leukemia. He got it when he was 5 years old. We fought with chemotherapy, the illness that he had, in and out of hospitals. We homeschooled all of our children during that period of time because we would have missed so much school. He had so many treatments. He was getting better, and then he relapsed. So he went from an 80% chance of recovery, being a healthy child, to only a 10% chance that he would ever get better. And the Lord chose to take him. These are the 6 children that followed my eldest son, 3 boys and 3 girls. A recent picture that was taken, I believe, in 2017. And the year after that, my daughter Laurelyn passed away, August the 7th, 2018, from a heart arrhythmia. She had a heart problem, but she was doing really well until the Lord took her. My son Dylan on the right had just graduated from the university, and he passed away 2 months to the day after my daughter did, of, we believe, uh, accidental suicide. He fell off the roof of our house. head first, we believe, on purpose. That story is one I'll have to tell you more about at some point, but I went through a very dark period in my mind, and my motivation was just shredded there for a period of time. At the same time, I lost a company that had been doing very well. My company went bad, and I lost a lot of money. I was in debt. I was trying to figure out what to do to earn money, and still grieving from two children being taken in the same year. God has helped me to put my life back together. And one of the things that has helped me to heal is to write, to create, to start telling my story, my thoughts, to start reaching out to God through verbal prayers, but also with writing. I encourage you to write with your journals, snippets of information. Don't feel like you have to write a whole novel. Just have a place where you're writing down different things that you're thinking about. Those can eventually be turned into a masterpiece. Learn how to use technology and AI. Don't be afraid of technology. It's just a tool that we can use for the kingdom of God. We don't want the devil to have all the good technology. We want to know how to use typewriters on up, all the way through the large learning models and all those things. And then use daily disciplines for the social support thereof. My call to action is just to start the journey. Think about a book you want to write, an ebook you wish to write, an e-course. Join BRI Talks. Join a supportive community. I love what Tara Lee Harrison has put together. I'm so happy to have recently joined her community and come to the different activities. My honor to have spoken to you today. I also have a community that I think could potentially fit hand in glove with what you were doing. It's called the Max Community at themaxcommunity.com. We have a free membership, and then we have paid memberships, but the free membership has a lot of value. We do free speed networking every Tuesday for Thursday for 30 minutes. You can meet all kinds of people there. And I just want to say it's been my privilege to talk and speak from my own experience, to be a part of this very creative community. And I wish for you God's creative energy as you embark upon the endeavors that He has given you to do and the stories that He wants you to share with the world. Thank you.